Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim, and this is Mark of the Ninja. It's an action stealth game put out by Klei Entertainment. It was originally released on Xbox Live Arcade September 7th, 2012, and then subsequently released on Steam October 16th of 2012. And then they released earlier this year a special edition that included a whole bunch of new items and a different play style, as well as an intro stage that sets up the story of the tattoo artist who gets involved in the story, developer commentary, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I wanted to give it a final playthrough because I've never actually beaten this game. I played a lot of it on the Xbox. I enjoyed the crap out of it. And so here we go. As I want to do, let's take a look at the options menu before we get started. I'm playing on my 360 gamepad here, so it's interesting that it automatically reverts to either the Xbox controls or the keyboard controls to show the moves, whether you're using one or the other. I'll probably cut in and out between the two here so you can see the difference. And it also has a pretty decent sized settings menu for a game that's this simply shown. The art style is very hand-drawn but still kind of intricate enough that it requires some of these different settings, such as your blooms, your blurs, your displacements, things of that nature. It has the option to turn on commentary, button mappings, and score indicators for when you're playing for the leaderboard type stuff, vibration in the controller, and your aspect resolution in your language, and so on and so forth. It also has the ability to either reset the defaults or reset the game itself, which I'm actually going to use here because I played through a stage or two just to make sure that I didn't suck. So let me just go ahead and reset that. That'll get us going on here. You can also take a look at the credits to see exactly who made this game, and there are a bunch of wonderful people, so I highly recommend giving that a watch once you've beaten the game all the way through. Get back. There we go. And you can also purchase the special edition downloadable content direct from the menu screen here, which is kind of nice. And so, let's begin the game. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do the Docent's Tale because that apparently is sort of a setup to the actual story and gives a little bit more of the backstory of what's going on here. And it's called A Tale from the Past. In days past, a young Docent was sent to Tabriz to deal with bandits who have put the clan's future at risk. This level is intended to be challenging. If you haven't played about the first half of the main game levels, you may want to do that first. Alright, fine. I guess we'll do that first. The thing I love most about this game is it's very beautifully drawn. The cutscenes, though they do look a little bit different from the game itself, are very well done. And they just look so nice. Look at that. But as you can see here, our ninja that we'll be playing as, who is unnamed, of course, has a bunch of spectacular powers that are given to him by the tattoos that have been drawn on him. I love this part. Oh no! Where are they gonna come from? Ugh. Yeah, that'll happen. And so as we go through the game, we'll get more tattoos and more powers will unlock, and it becomes a very interesting way to tell the story and explain why you have the power creep in the game.
Rule number 1, don't get me killed.
And so that's Aura. She is our aide here in our ninja clan, and as we have to follow her here, one of the first things to point out is you can hear as the bell rings, you can actually see how far it reaches, and that becomes critical later on when you're having to fend off guards and stuff, because everything you do makes noise. Walking is the same as sneaking, but when you start running, you yourself make the various pings and noise levels. And so you have to be wary of that as you go through. Let's read this developer commentary here. Welcome to Mark of the Ninja Special Edition. Throughout the levels, you'll find small bits of commentary about the game, and we wanted to offer a behind-the-scenes look at how the game came together and why certain decisions were made, anecdotes basically whatever else we thought might be interesting. Designers, programmers, artists, audio all chimed in on their part in creating Mark of the Ninja. Interact with these objects in the level to access each bit of commentary. The commentary can be turned on or off entirely in the options menu. You can read any of the commentary via the pause menu. If you haven't played the game yet, there may be spoilers along the various comments, so proceed with caution if that's something you're concerned about. Otherwise, hopefully there are some things of interest in there, and thank you for playing our game. Nels Anderson, lead designer. So those are nice little notes in here, and yes, I will be reading all of those because I haven't seen them before. And I think there are interesting little tidbits as we go through to kind of add in. It may provide some good talking points as well, you never know. And so the bell is one of the first things you hear singing in the game, and it posed some unique challenges due to its location. That was one of only a couple locations where we wanted you to be able to see and hear through a wall, but not be able to, but not allow the player's NPCs to move through it. As we tried out a various number of ways of faking this, like having multiple sound emitters that we turn on or off, we eventually added a proper way of marking pieces in the world as transparent or transparent to sound, mainly to make this bell to work the way we wanted. And so that's kind of an interesting behind-the-scenes look at the way the different mechanics work, and actually from a programming aspect and not just from an aesthetic aspect.
Stick to the darkness until you find one.
We got another one here. We went through a lot of voices before we found the right one for Aura. The rest we hit on right away, which included my Canadian-sounding guard, drawing from actors we had on previous games. But Aura took some time. We knew how important she was to the story and how her voice needed to be perfect. From all the audition tapes, Lisa and Belly stood out to everyone, and once we had her in the studio, we knew that was Aura. Thank you, Matthew Martinson, audio department. And so as we drop down here, you notice that being in the shadow actually makes your character look different. We'll creep our way over here to where our guard friend died, unfortunately. And you can see when you walk into the light, you actually light up. And so that creates a visual cue, as well as sort of like whether they put up a little icon that says you're invisible or in light. It's a much better indication of whether you're in one of those two states. And it's nice the way that all of the elements sort of work together, so that you know where you can kind of speed through and where you have to be silent and stealthy. I can't kill him. I can't kill him yet. I can't kill him yet.
Okay.
But you get points as you go through for being stealthy or for getting a kill and hiding the body and doing various other ninja-ly type things without getting caught or without getting killed, because you are not very effective in combat, as it turns out. Of course, you're a ninja. You're not a soldier. And so those little four bobs up in the top corner, those represent my health. And it... let's see, we got to develop a commentary here. It actually gives you a really good way of feeling as though you have to be sneaky as you go through the game, because you wouldn't survive an out-and-out fight with 4 guys with guns. And so we have here, for almost half the development of Mark of the Ninja, there were actually 3 movement types: sneaking, walking, and running. Sneaking felt, well, sneakier, but it was either confusing or was not, never used by our playtesters. There just wasn't enough difference between sneaking and walking. So we simplified the 2 distinct movements, running and walking, and we still have an unused button on the controller from where the sneak used to be. And that becomes handy because especially when you're playing with a controller, button conservation is very important.
Be able to hear it.
And so we'd want to walk here, not run, so as to not alert their attention. And we can actually crouch through the fence here. And one thing you notice is that it actually kind of does a neat little blurring effect for what direction you're looking when you have various places like this. The grate here at the bottom is another good example. You can see clearly in this room, but you notice that you could still see the footsteps, and you can actually still hear them in the audio of the room before and the room after, and loud noises if they reverberate through the walls. And that really it becomes handy later on for being able to scout out moves that you make. And grab my grappling hook here. This is a lovely little tool, as are most of the ones that they give you. It allows you to quickly scale around on the various places that you see the little hook icon. And of course there are secrets. Yeah. Littered throughout. The voice of Hisumo. Each level has 3 scrolls that tell the history of the clan. Recovering them will grant these little sigils, which can be used to acquire upgrades in between levels.
A history of the Hisumu clan, as written by its masters.
We were planning to include collectible audio logs in each level, but we wanted to make them short. The game moves quickly, and a 30 to 60 second or more stretch of backstory would have felt too long. We came up with the idea of writing the audio logs as a haiku, which would be short and also a little enigmatic, giving the player a reason to reread them later on. Chris Dolan, writer. And so as you heard there over me talking very rudely over it, I apologize for that. All the various little backstory tidbits that you get by picking up the collectibles all go towards.
This place is giving me the creeps.
Sorry, hang on just a second.
Feels like we're being watched.
The NPC dialogue is usually pretty humorous as well. But all those little tidbits and backstories just give you a really nice look at the environment that you're walking into here, even this early on, where you're kind of plunged straight into the drama without really knowing much of what's going on. I mean, this is supposed to be your home dojo. You were sleeping just a minute ago, and all of a sudden there are these military guys running around killing people and kidnapping. So I finally got my sword here, the sword of the Tetsuji. The Hisumi save their swords until they can kill with one strike. This relic of the clan's founder has upheld this tradition for hundreds of years. And so this doesn't actually add anything to your basic combat functions.
Like embracing a lover.
Get off the platform. Ah. If you wasn't on that platform, I'd be able to latch onto it. But at any rate, it doesn't actually give you anything in combat. What it does is enable you to get one-hit kills. Actually, from a wide variety of places later on, once you get various upgrades and such. But at first, the only thing that you can do is sneak up behind him, and then you get a little quick time event.
Good work. But remember,
where you have to do in the direction that it prompts you and press the X button to get a kill. And usually you want to grab the body, hide it down there. And it's nice that it gives you a constant readout up there of the context-sensitive buttons. Like it tells you whether you jump or enter the vent or drop the vent or pick up the body or hide in here or unhide. And then later on when you get the darts, it actually becomes, and the various other items that you pick up, it's rather handy. And as you can see, one of the other kinds of kills that I can get automatically throws the body down there. And I can drop back down and get even more points by dropping the body. And draggy. Actually, let me just throw him over there. Moves him a little bit faster that way. And then dropping him down in the vents even further. No one shall ever find him there. This game encourages you to have fun that way, to kind of plan out and clear your way and clean up behind you, because later on there are actually rewards for being undetected, and guards finding a body will count as you being detected. Alright, so we finally got our darts here.
the ink from your tattoo has honed your senses. Focus your thoughts, and you can freeze time in your mind.
And that gives us the ability to finally do neat ninja stuff like, yeah,